Okay, so for today's deep dive, we're turning to a passage from the Bible, Matthew, verses 46 through 50. It's a story about Jesus, and it's one of those passages that always seems to get people talking.
I think this is one of those passages, you read it and you think you got it, and then you realize there's a lot more there.
Yeah, there's always another layer, right?
Right.
Okay, so just to set the scene for our listeners, we're in the middle of Jesus' ministry. He's teaching a huge crowd. People are hanging on his every word. And then suddenly, his mother and brother show up. They're outside. And they're trying to get a hold of him.
Yeah, and I think this is where it's so important to kind of, put ourselves back in that time period and place. Family back then wasn't just about who you were related to. It was about honor, responsibility, your place in the community.
It was everything.
It was everything, yeah. So for them to interrupt Jesus like that during a public teaching, it had to be something really, really important.
And then Jesus says something that I think even today would just stop everyone in their tracks. Who is my mother and who are my brothers?
I mean, wow, right? Talk about a mic drop moment. You got to remember, in that culture, honoring your parents, your family, that was like the law. And here's Jesus questioning the very definition of family. I think it's easy to gloss over that now, but that was radical.
So he's clearly making a point here. He's not saying he doesn't care about his family.
Yeah.
He's doing something much deeper.
He's challenging everyone to think, to go beyond the surface. If it's not just blood that makes a family, what does? And that, I think, is what makes this passage so relevant even now.
And he doesn't leave them hanging. He answers his own question in such a powerful way. He looks at his disciples and says, "Here are my mother and my brothers." It's like he's redrawing the lines of family right there in front of them.
It's huge. He saying that, the commitment you make to his teachings, to following him, it's a bond that's just as strong, if not stronger, than blood.
It's about finding your people, your community, the ones who get you, who you struggle alongside, who you celebrate with. It's chosen family.
Exactly. What if we all approached our relationships with that kind of intentionality? What if we chose our families, not out of obligation, but out of a shared sense of love and purpose?
And then he takes it even a step further with that line. For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother. Now, we're not just talking about who Jesus considers family. We're talking about who's part of God's family.
And that's really the heart of it, isn't it? It's about belonging to something bigger than ourselves. It's about a shared purpose, a shared faith, a shared commitment to something beyond just our earthly lives.
Wow, that's really powerful. This whole deep dive has given me so much to think about. Who do I consider to be my true family? It's not always a simple answer, is it? But I think this passage challenges us to really examine those connections in our own lives.
It just goes to show you, these ancient texts still have so much to teach us about the human experience.
They really do. We started with a single passage from the Bible, and look where we ended up. So, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to ponder. If you could write the definition of family, what would it say? And who in your life embodies that definition? Who are the people who make up your chosen family? Keep that question with you today. And until next time, thanks for joining us on our deep dive.